this is Ignite the Fire, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Skylanders Giant Locke. I'm sorry that the previous episode did not have much of an outro, but that's purely because we was kicked out from one level straight into another in the form of the Junkyard Isles right here. So unfortunately we do have a very boring level to slog through right here, considering this is not the most exciting level ever. But hey, I'll still have fun with it nevertheless, and I'm sure you guys will too, regardless of whether this level is good or not, because you guys got me going along through you with it. Through you with it? No, with it through you, that's what I meant by that. Here's me copying up all the sentences I conjure up and stuff like that. Then again, it's not that I'm copying up the sentences, it's just that I'm putting them in the wrong order, because that's what my brain tends to do sometimes. Because I actually have a really interesting story about how my brain handles things sometimes. So basically, how the story goes is that when I was a whole lot younger, like 6 weeks young, that's a pretty young age, nevertheless, what wound up happening is that unfortunately I got a really bad disease called viral meningitis, which caused like bacteria to start growing at the back of my neck, which of course at the back of your neck is a very hard place to get to, considering that, you know, it's your neck and it's kind of vital and stuff. And what made it even worse is that I got this when I was 6 weeks old, which meant I had no immune system whatsoever. So I barely managed to survive from it. Luckily I did, luckily for you lot nevertheless. And yeah, so I managed to survive that just fine, barely, but it didn't come without a toll, because basically what happened is that first I started off with really bad speech problems, like I needed speech therapy until an age of about 8 or so odd, because I couldn't pronounce certain things. Like it took me until the age of 7 to pronounce things like ball or yes and stuff like that, because on the register we all had to say yes and I couldn't say yes, but luckily I had a friend who actually said yes for me, because the thing was that the teachers would always give me this really good weird look when I said yeah instead of yes, because I couldn't say yes. And I couldn't even say, I can't say yes yet, so luckily for me I had my friend next to me to tell the teachers that. Undead element, that's eyebrow right here for us. So yes, that's where my speech problems come from. The thing is that the main problem why I had such speech problems was because my brain has a tendency to process things in the wrong order. So instead of it processing things in the right order, like your guys' brain would normally do, like, say you had a recipe for a cake, and the recipe was steps 1 through 10. You know, your brain would interpretate the steps, you know, 1 at a time from 1 all the way up to 10, but mine would go in a completely different order. It'd be like 6, 9, 8, 4, stuff like that. That's how my brain would interpret the recipe. So my brain not only has to take in the information, but also has to like reorder it and reprocess it and stuff. And that takes me a little bit longer than most people to process things. But once I get it, I get it. Put it like that, and that's what makes me so smart, I suppose, because I am willing to admit I am a very smart person. And feed of strength. Let's do this thing. I love me some feed of strength. And my vocals are dead, just as I planned they would be. That was a really weird noise right there. Eyebrow, what the hell are you groaning about? I'm the one who groans around here, not you. Oh, and he's flexing. I will be an all badass, you know that? You're live. What?
You're live.
No, I'm not live. Sorry about that quick interruption right there, guys. As you can tell, my dad just came in on me. We wanted to watch a movie, but unfortunately I have recorded to get to nevertheless. But yes, RIP my focus nevertheless. But either way, that's what happens to my brain, and that's how it processes things in the wrong order, and that's kind of why I got my sentence structure mixed up before, and that's why I was saying things in the wrong order. Because of course my brain forgot to put them in the right order before I actually said them out loud nevertheless. So yes, that's how those things went. Yes, I am. Yes, I am right. No, I'm not right. She is right. I didn't even say it. So how can I be one who's right, right? But then again, I'm always right. So that's why I'm right.
Probably not a good thing, right? Luckily,
even Flynn's saying right. What it is it with everyone saying the word right today? Is everyone just all of a sudden became right-handed or something? Wow, I just said it again. I suppose I'm just right about everything. As I also mentioned previously.
Now, this ship has been running solely on raccoon power.
If Guardians of the Galaxy has taught us anything, it's that raccoon power is awesome!
they won't like that.
Well then, let's not tell them that then, shall we? Okay, let's open this up so we can speak to Persephone herself. I'm kidding, guys, no, it's Persephone. I'm just doing that to trigger you guys. And if you are triggered, then that means I was successful.
Speak your language
Well, that's going to be convenient if I actually need such upgrades, because the thing is that of course I need the upgrades, but I already have all of them nevertheless, so I have no need to purchase any more of them to say the least. So we are going to continue.
But return anytime.
And return any time, I think I shall. Am I going to view some details? No, I'm not. Well, I am because it kind of forced me into it, but am I going to view now that I'm into it? No, not really. Just kidding, of course I am. So looking at our stats right here, our maximum health is the maximum health the Skylander can have. So for eyeballs, nice and high because giants have high hit points because, as I mentioned previously, they have big hitboxes as well, so the high health compensates for that. Then you also have elemental power, which is the ability, which is the chance even of it's basically the chance of getting a hit with elemental bonus damage in a element that does not match your in a zone that does not match your element even. And the thing is that because we're going to be playing with all Skylanders or all giants in this case in their respective elemental zones, this isn't going to be too important because Eyeball's always going to be in an undead zone. So it's not going to be useful until giants start being defeated. That is, because one thing I did forget to mention is that once a giant in the previous episode, that is, once a giant is defeated, they are classed as dead, so I cannot use them again without first of all Locke. Other way, speed is how fast your Skylander can move. In Giant's case, they are not very high on speed because they are big, so they tend to be powerful and slow rather than quick and speedy nevertheless. Then your armor is the chance of blocking out enemy attacks, and your critical hit is the chance of landing a hit with bonus damage. Way, let's head on over to here, see what we can find. None other than an element of the area dedicated to the Earth element. How do I know that? Because I'm Sidekick. That and I also know this game inside out. I mean, I've played it enough times, right? But that means we got to call upon, yeah boy, Crusher. My battery is running low, but fortunately we should be able to finish this episode before such a battery gets too bad. Okay, there's those chompy fools taken down. Chompy fools, they are dead. Yes, they are. And yeah, again, I've requested singing, even though my singing skill or lack thereof is awful, which is why I say there's lack thereof, that skill nevertheless. Hey, come back here, you fool. What do you think you're doing? Boom, split up. Okay, there's that fella taken down, nevertheless. So let's head right inside this door, to say the least. And blow stuff up in the Fortress Basement. Which, speaking of which, there's actually a story score later on in the game, which references the Fortress Basement. I believe it's actually part of chapter number 4, nevertheless. And that's what's really interesting about the story scores in this game. They have like interlock the levels together, which makes them even more interesting for it. It expands upon the lore of previous levels and interlocks the level that you found the story score in with that level, with that other level that it mentions about nevertheless. So yes, it's interesting how that works to say the least. Anyway, let's head back outside and grab ourselves some keys by blowing up some walls. Well, not blowing it up, but crushing it up, I should say, to be more specific. And we're crushing it with Crusher. Otherwise, is there any rocks anywhere that I'm missing? Knowing my kind of luck, I probably am. So let's just scout the area and make sure. Oh, what do you know? Here's one. Of course, I went to miss one. I keep on missing out on these whole feed of strength thingies. Yeah, my apologies on that once again, guys. I don't mean to do that. It's just that sometimes, you know, I'm not always too used to getting everything done every time with every single giant. Pretty much is what I'm saying right here. Okay, can we take out these chompies from here? Let's find out. Nice, we took out one of them at least. Okay, let's take out these chompies and then we're going to grab this border right here. There's the Drow Archer, but hey, luckily with this rock, never mind, it looks like that rock did not want to be picked up, nevertheless. Boom, take that, fools. Okay, there's that fool taken down. So now we've got some more rocks to pick up right here, such as these two right along here. Yeah, what you could do is you could have used one of these boulders even. I don't think they're rocks, they're a bit bigger rocks nevertheless, but either way, the point is you could have used one of these boulders to actually destroy that wall over there, and that would have stopped the Drow Spearmen from spawning in, but luck wasn't like there was many of them to begin with, so it's totally a-okay in that regard that we didn't take them down using that method, because we still took them down nevertheless, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how we won, all that matters is that we did win in the end. Either way, the element of the area is currently dedicated to life elements. That means we've got to swap back to T-Rex right here, and I'm officially afraid of a bark. Well, I am not, but that's what the enemies are thinking nevertheless. Because trust me, the bark is something to fear, my friends, especially when it comes to T-Rex's bark in specific. How the hell did T-Rex fit in that door right there? The door is like 5 times smaller than him. See, look how small that door is in comparison to T-Rex. How the hell is he fitting in there? Because Skylanders doesn't care about physics, that's how. So don't even bother trying to explain the physics that takes place in Skylanders, because there isn't any! Either way, we're gonna take down some guys right here. Ow. Hey, what does it matter? We're still killing them nevertheless, which is what's important. And thank you, my woodpecker bow. You are convenient nevertheless, and the fact that you are destroying these top ledge guys for me. Okay, that guy's down, and that guy's down thanks to our woodpecker pal. Thank you, buddy, right there. Good old buddy, old pal. Gotta love that woodpecker nevertheless. But now that feeder strength is out of the way, let's move that down to here with our duplicates. Because we got numero duo when it comes to those keys, and luckily we got dual keys for a dual locked gate. Yes, I am. How do you gather that together? Not like our ship is completely without an engine or anything.
Provided I can accompany you on your ship. Do we have a deal?
Do we? Da, da, da. Yes, we do apparently. And there's actually more stuff in the store that we can look at, but I'm pretty sure it just concerns stuff like hats. Oh my gosh, there's a cowboy hat. Of course we're going to wear this. It's the return of Sheriff Trigger Happy, just with T-Rex instead. So we've gone from Sheriff Trigger Happy to Sheriff T-Rex. No man, it doesn't suit him as much. It really suits Trigger Happy better than T-Rex. Not so much, unfortunately. But hey, what matters is that we grabbed ourselves the engine.
All right. You're selling us this engine for 1 gold coin? Indeed. And if you wish to purchase,
isn't that exactly what I just said? Well, he said it to us, so I don't really care too much that Flynn didn't really know too much about that already, because of course by him speaking to us, he was not speaking to Flynn, so that did kind of leave Flynn in the dark nevertheless. Daphne's also dumb enough to not get that gathered up himself. I'm just kidding, Flynn ain't that dumb. He's pretty, at least, smart in, like, discovering things, but he's not so smart in his driving skill, I suppose. Because he likes to say his driving skill is phenomenal when it really is not, purely by the fact that he's too big-headed. Too big for his own boots, I suppose, is basically what I'm saying right here. Purely because of the fact that, like I said before, he says he's a better pilot than what he actually is.
They also worship it, and it's well guarded.
Granted, he can pilot, but that doesn't make him a good pilot. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you're good at it, right? Tech, that's bouncer right here, so let's bring him in without further ado. Oh yeah, these guys should absolutely deal with me on it first. Okay, there's that full taken down. I completely forgot about this rock right here. And boom. There's that thing all taken down right there. I don't know what's better, his eye lasers, his flipping rockets, or his finger bullets. They're all phenomenal attacks nevertheless. They turn what's a great design giant into a greatly playable character nevertheless, because his gameplay is great, as I mentioned previously. And boom, the locks, they are gone. They were indeed shot down, Bouncer buddy. Now it makes sense, you gotta bounce if your name is Bouncer, right? Wouldn't be appropriate name if you did do such things.
When you collect these, I can create those upgrades for you with less gold.
And this is basically just like the Wing Sapphire we collected before, in fact it gives you 2% discount, which it said. We will tell you more about this later, but I did not care about it because I already knew about it, because I know this game inside out, as I've mentioned in previous times. And speaking of Inside Out, wow, is that a great movie. I flippin' love Pixar, but even for Pixar standards, Inside Out is just mind-blowing, truly. Inside Out is one of my favourite Pixar movies, and considering how much I keep Pixar movies close to my heart, that really shows something. And of course we're going to preview Hot Head, because he is actually part of the Locke, unlike the previous episode of String Beam. But yeah, Inside Out is a very great Pixar movie, one of its finest, purely because of the pure creativity and emotion that they showed in that movie. Wow. But besides Inside Out, I also have some other great favourites on Pixar, things like The Incredibles, Toy Story, and let's not forget Coco, that's their newest one. Coco is a phenomenal movie as well. It has so many great stories about family and pursuing your passion, but always putting family first and stuff like that. So it has some great messages in it, some very well executed twists. Sure, well, for twists seem generic on paper, they are so well executed in actual life that you'll actually forget how generic the twists were because of it. And so overall, Coco is just such a well-crafted and well-executed movie that's so much fun to watch and so many things to learn from it. Because not only does it teach you about, family and stuff like that, but also teaches you about Mexican culture, and that's good because Mexican culture is one of my favourites out there, Mexican and Chinese culture. Purely because I love Chinese culture because of its architecture and stuff, and then I also love Mexican culture because of Dia de los Muertos, which means, of course, Day of the Dead. And Day of the Dead is just that awesome that has a Skylander based after it called Fiesta. Anyway, so yep, that's how all of that goes, but let's grab this compass without further ado. The Compass of Ultimate Finding. I'm not sure whether that's its actual name or whether it's just a name I made up for it. Perhaps it's a bit of both. Perhaps it's just called for Ultimate Compass of Ultimateness.
Point is, it's ours now, so I say we set
That's a good point. That is the only thing that matters, the fact that it's ours now. And it's funny how he says point, because of course all compasses has a point which points north. So it's ironic how he said that nevertheless. I can't believe she just said that. What a modest thing for her to say, especially in the vicinity of Flynn. Well, that was a bit of a subtle leave. But hey, you've got to like the backdrop. The backdrop is great, especially with the beauty of the sunset and stuff like that. It's a great backdrop. Why am I so impressed by a backdrop? That just goes to show how excited I am for this lock, because I get excited over stuff in this lock that I normally wouldn't get excited over, but I'm getting excited over it nevertheless. This is what locks do to me, people, so let's just hope that we win this one, considering how excited I became over it.
Before we get to our destination. Sure hope whatever this hurt.
Oh, it will be, trust me on that, because that's a previously mentioned this game, Inside Out, which is a great reference to the Pixar movie, which I also previously mentioned about. But anyway, clearly enough, this episode has been said and done. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. But until then, peace.